Freddie Mercury, a name synonymous with power, energy, and flamboyance. The legendary frontman of Queen wasn't just a singer, he was a performer, a force of nature. On stage, he captivated millions with his dynamic presence and iconic voice, leading Queen through some of the greatest rock anthems of all time. But behind the glittering performances, Freddie was fighting a battle he kept hidden from the world. A battle against a disease that would eventually claim his life, but also change the world's perception of it forever. In the mid-1980s, rumors about Freddie's health began to circulate. His once robust figure appeared thinner, and his public appearances became more infrequent. The man who had once owned the stage at Wembley, whose voice soared through Bohemian Rhapsody and We Will Rock You, was starting to withdraw. But true to his nature, Freddie kept his private life intensely private. His health was no one's business but his own, and despite mounting speculation, he refused to publicly acknowledge the truth. Freddie Mercury had been diagnosed with AIDS. The diagnosis came at a time when the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS was at its height. The disease was still misunderstood, feared, and largely associated with shame. But Freddie, ever defiant, chose to continue living life on his own terms. He didn't want to be remembered as a victim of the disease. He wanted to be remembered for the music, for the joy, and for the magic he created with Queen. Even as his health declined, Freddie's determination to create remained unshakable. Queen continued to record music, and some of their most poignant and powerful songs were written during this period. One of those songs was The Show Must Go On. Written by Brian May, the song is now seen as Freddie's personal anthem, a declaration that no matter what, he would keep going until the very end. When Freddie recorded The Show Must Go On, his health had deteriorated to the point where it was uncertain whether he could deliver the powerful vocals the song required. But in true Freddie fashion, he walked into the studio, took a deep breath, and belted out the track in one take. His voice, as strong as ever, carried the weight of a man who knew his time was running out, but was determined to leave everything he had in the music. The Show Must Go On wasn't just a song. It was Freddie's way of telling the world that his legacy would outlive him. Throughout these final years, Freddie kept his diagnosis private, even from those closest to him. It wasn't until November 23, 1991, just one day before his death, that Freddie publicly revealed he had AIDS. In a brief but heartfelt statement, he acknowledged his illness, hoping to raise awareness and remove the stigma surrounding the disease. His words, spoken so close to the end, sent shockwaves around the world. Less than 24 hours later, Freddie Mercury was gone. But in his passing, Freddie did something extraordinary. His public acknowledgement of his battle with AIDS changed the conversation around the disease. Suddenly, one of the most beloved figures in music, someone millions of people idolized, had been affected by this illness. It wasn't something that could be ignored or stigmatized any longer. Freddie's death brought the fight against AIDS into the spotlight, leading to increased awareness, understanding, and a shift in public perception. For years, Freddie had kept his illness hidden, refusing to let it define him. But in his final act, he used his platform to break the silence around AIDS. His death became a powerful reminder that no one, not even a legend, was invincible, but also that the disease could not diminish his genius or his legacy. Freddie Mercury's life was filled with unforgettable moments. His electric performances, his soaring vocals, and his ability to make every person in the crowd feel connected to something larger. But his final years, spent quietly battling a disease in a world that wasn't ready to talk about it, gave him a new kind of power. He became a symbol of strength, not just in the face of fame, but in the face of mortality. In the years since his passing, Freddie's influence has only grown. His music continues to inspire new generations, and his bravery in revealing his illness has had a lasting impact on the global fight against AIDS. The world mourned his loss, but through his music, his legacy lives on. Songs like "The Show Must Go On" remind us that, even when faced with the greatest challenges, Freddie's voice, his spirit, and his defiance could not be silenced. Freddie Mercury's final act wasn't just a farewell, it was a statement. A statement that no matter what he was facing, no matter how dire the circumstances, the music and the show would go on.